Hello and welcome. In this match I am in the new tier 7 German battleship, the Gneisenau. And I don't like her. I think that she is a bad ship. I would even put her as the second worst ship of the German battleship line tier by tier, with Kurfürst being the worst one. The reason why I don't like the Gneisenau is simply because she only has 6 guns. Pretty much everything else on her is very good. Like, she's very fast, 32 knots on a battleship. She is maneuverable. She has decent armor, for whatever armor is worth at tier 7 battleships. Her guns have decent penetration. Okay, the dispersion on the guns is poor, but it's the same on the Torpedoes. Her secondaries are decent, her anti-air is pretty good. Like, all these things make her a decent ship. But overall, when I play her, she doesn't feel like it because, well, I shoot the salvo and I get one hit and it's an over-penetration and everything else misses. Because bad dispersion and few guns means that you have a bad time hitting things. Like, if you think about her dispersion, it's very similar numbers to what the Colorado gets. Except that the Colorado gets a higher sigma value, which means that the sigma value means that shells are more likely to be towards the center of the target. A higher sigma value is better. So, and add on top of that, Colorado has 8 guns versus the Gneisenau having 6. So you're less accurate and you have less chances of hitting. I ran some numbers today where I assumed that you have a 25% hit chance, and then I calculated the highest probability of hits in a salvo with 6 guns with that assumption is 1. The highest probability with 8 guns is 2, and that's a pretty big difference. Of course, it's not double. There's absolutely no way that would be the case, but it does paint quite the picture because, well, if you aren't lucky, then the guns just won't perform and you're going to have a bad time. The torpedoes on her are very similar to what the Torpedoes has, and armor is similar to what the other tier 7 battleships have. So she is okay at fighting other battleships, especially tier 6 and 5 ones, because they can't penetrate her from the front. And if you ignore the penetration from the front, which all the other tier 7 battleships also have, they're okay at fighting that one too. But she seems to have a harder time against tier 8s because you can't penetrate them from the front in return. Only a Yamato can do that, and that puts some things, or that causes some issues. Oh yeah, by the way, these are the skills and modules I use on this, in this match. At least I think they are. Should be. So basically, what I feel is that the Scharnhorst is like something you would want to brawl in, but the problem is that she's tier 7, and tier 7 meets tier 8s and 9s way too often. And you can't really brawl in the same way against tier 8s and tier 9s as you could against tier 5s and 6s. And the big issue is that with other battleships, they have a better time fighting cruisers when they are up tiered. Like, if you're in Nagato in a tier 7 game or a Scharnhorst, you'll just hunt cruises, you'll fight that Baltimore or whatever, and you'll be fine, your guns will penetrate her no problem, etc, etc. But in the case of the Gneisenau, you're gonna have a bad time killing cruises because, again, you only have 6 guns. She feels like the Myogi. Very, very similar in that sense. I didn't think that the 6 guns would make such a big difference. And the similarities with the Myogi are actually much more than just the 6 guns. If you think about the Myogi, she is also very good at all the other things except the guns. Like, the Myogi has, she is fast, she has range, at least, you know, compared to what her, what the other tier 4 ships are. She has all kinds of things, but they don't make up for the fact that you only have 6 guns, and that just causes poor performance in my opinion. Well, sorry, it's not poor performance on average, I guess. It's poor performance sometimes. Sometimes you're fine, other times you aren't. And this kind of inconsistent play makes me not like the ship. I understand that currently in this match the way we're playing it isn't optimal, but I can't go into sea. I just can't. If I had gone there, I would have just died. Because I would have been pretty much the only thing. Like, look, we've lost one battleship because he went into sea alone. If I had been with him, I probably would be dying very soon next. And I feel that if you are put into a position, even in a match like this one, then it's problematic. Okay, this match might be a bit different because there are two carriers in both teams, so going alone or staying alone is very dangerous. And that's also another reason why I didn't want to go towards sea, because many people didn't go there, which means you are more likely to get torpedo bombered. But one more issue that I'm gonna have with Gneisenau is the fact that the Bayern, like, I don't know, maybe the Bayern is actually better. Sure, she isn't as good at some of the other things, she isn't as fast, but the Bayern is fairly fast. The Bayern doesn't have as much range, that's a big downside though, and she isn't as well armored, but the Bayern's guns turn quickly. She has the same caliber guns, and she has 8 of them, by the way. And I mean, it just feels weird going from the Bayern to this one. The Bayern just felt so much stronger for what it is, and I would probably put the Bayern at the second strongest ship in the line, following the Bismarck. So yeah, maybe that difference colors my opinion a bit, but it's going to color pretty much everybody else's opinion when they play the ship as well, because, you know, very few people are going to skip the Bayern and go for the Gneisenau right away. I would recommend doing the opposite, to be honest. She just feels like the ship I'm trying to shoot right now. By the way, I used that torpedo indicator to see how fast she was moving to make a better guess on how to fire. Unfortunately, it still wasn't enough. But yeah, I really don't like her. Oh, and there's one extra thing. Because you only have 6 guns, DDs are actually much scarier because you can't just blap them away with AP, because, you know, you only have 6 shells, so if you hit some of those, they might not be enough to kill the DD in a few salvos, and that could be dangerous. And that's danger that I don't think a hydraulic press is going to save you from. And the problem is that she is tier 7, which means that she will meet those devilish tier 5 Minakazes and Fujins and Kamikazes. And they will make your life hell because, well, they can fire their torpedoes almost as often as you can fire your guns, so that's not a very good thing to happen. She's good against Nagatas and similar though. Well, I guess you would really pick the Fuso to fight. Also, when I say things about the guns, right, you could also think that, oh, but the difference between 8 guns and 6 guns wasn't even that big at all, like it wasn't that big of a deal. Well, the problem or difference there is that when you have 6-gun ships, like, sorry, 12-gun ships at tier 6, like the Fuso or the New Mexico, the thing is that their sigma value is 1.5, whereas the next one, which is the Colorado, is I think 1.9 or 2.0 even. And that's a pretty big difference, because I think 2.0 or 2.1 is the highest sigma value in the game. And most of the ships tend to have 1.8, and I'm pretty sure the Gneisenau has 1.8 sigma. So, oh my god, look, torpedoes. By a DD! Fortunately, like I said, she is rather mobile, so could dodge these, well, most of them. Only took 2, I think. But what do I do in this situation? I'm fighting in Atlanta. She's at 8 kilometers. I got a nice salvo, or hit. I fired 4 shells. I got 1 hit. And I got lucky that it was a citadel hit. If that had been an overpen, I would have done very little damage. So I fired my back guns, it did nothing. Of course you could think that, oh yeah, I'm just so good at aiming that it's no problem, but again, most people probably aren't going to be that good at aiming, at least I'm not. And this time I hit 0 shells. And even if you're... okay, this time the aim was bad, I should have led more, these are definitely going to miss. Oh, actually no, I still hit one of the, well, overpens. I need one more overpen on her. Look at how many salvos I've had to fire at this goddamn Atlanta though, to kill her, when she is at such close range. And of course the last hit is a Citadel as well, obviously. Gonna select that Nagato for secondaries and I'm gonna just keep firing at the Independence. And I just hope that I get to use my heal before I die. By the way, this is the same Independence I fired at earlier at the start of the match, and she has barely taken any damage. The torpedo arcs are pretty good though on this ship. That's something pretty awesome actually. Like this Nagata is barely moving and my torpedoes are... I didn't even have to turn all that much, I could have turned a lot less. Come on, heal up and go. One good thing is that her guns turn quickly, so she doesn't suffer from many issues in that regard. So she can be mobile while turning her guns, but I still like the Scharnhorst in this sense way more. By the way, this is the best game I had with Gneisenau, which is pretty crazy considering how similar the gun should be to the Tirpitz and stuff, but for some reason the Bismarck performed so much better. By the way, did you notice the dispersion on this salvo? Like, that dispersion was insane. It's so wide and stuff. Even though this Independence is so close by. It's it's not satisfying, and it's so inconsistent that I just can't feel that she is good. I'm sorry. The reason why I keep droning on about why I think she is bad is because I have heard quite many comments saying that people think she is okay or going to be okay. And, well, I want to explain why I think what I think. And, well, this match is pretty much over. We have won the game. I think if I had gone towards C, I would be at the bottom of the ocean by now. But I didn't, so it's okay. I'm still gonna perform really well, because obviously this is the best match I had with her. Oh look, 2 more overpens. Really nice. Really, really nice. Wanna guess what this is? More overpens. Oh, never mind, the game did actually ended. Maybe I would have actually been able to kill her. Who knows? Who knows? I did 104,000 damage. That's an incredible result for the Gneisenau for me. Usually I didn't get games this good. Especially the ones where I was like bottom tier, those were horrible. Experience-wise I did well. Apparently one of our carriers was AFK, or quit, that's why he got 0 experience. And for some reason he still survived. But anyways, this was the match, and yeah, I didn't like her. Secondaries barely did anything, but then again I was never really in a position to use them. This game just didn't lend itself well to this, and you can't really force it on this ship. She isn't tanky enough. Because again, she is tier 7, like the other tier 7 battleships. They just can't face guns of their own tier caliber. So these are the stats I had with the Gneisenau. As you can see, my win rate was pretty poor, so was my survival rate. And I really didn't get all that many kills, and even my average damage was very low with her. Well, in comparison, sure, the Colorado did worse, but I played the Colorado a really long time ago. And I believe she wasn't as strong as she is nowadays. And, well, with the Nagata there's really no comparison. Like, I'm actually surprised that I have such a high win rate on the Nagata, but average damage wise even, it just doesn't compare, and it just... I feel like if we had like another tier 7 ranked season, I feel like people picking the Gneisenau would be doing a disservice for themselves. But she's really pretty though. I really like what the ship looks like. Although I think I like the Scharnhorst look more. Like, she just looks maybe a bit better. Yep, a bit prettier in my opinion. Especially because they have these triple turrets instead of the dual ones, but I guess it is what it is. So let's look at the stats of the ship. She has more HP than the Colorado, but less than the Nagato. TDS is actually the weakest, I think. I'm not entirely certain about that one. Our guns are as they are. The guns themselves are good, but there's only 6 of them. Secondaries are actually pretty incredible. Like 22 secondary guns at tier 7 is quite something. Especially with 5.5 kilometer range. This is with the aiming systems modification 1 module. Because you really need that dispersion upgrade. It's pretty much unplayable in my opinion when you keep missing your salvos, so you want to really improve that as much as possible. The torpedoes are very similar to what the Tirpitz has, might even be the exact same. Let's check. Yep, they are the same torpedoes, but there's 3 in for the Gneisenau, whereas the Tirpitz gets 4 by side. One thing that she's very good at is anti-air. Like, let alone the Nagato, I feel like the Gneisenau is actually better than the Colorado in anti-air, because she has way more longer range anti-air. Like the Colorado has like 4.2 or 4.5 kilometer anti-air, which does like 60 damage. The Gneisenau has 136, which is very surprising. This is like Tirpitz level anti-air, or maybe even a tiny bit better than that one. In terms of maneuverability, the Gneisenau does very well. 830 meter turning circle, 14.7 second rudder shift, but 32 knots, and this is without the speed flag. For some reason, the Gneisenau is 2 knots faster than the Scharnhorst. That's just insane in my opinion. They should be the same speed, but they aren't. And concealment wise, well, they are what they are also apparently, server maintenance. So anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, then I hope I see you guys next time, and thank you very much for your continued support, Ultra Real. I hope I see you guys next time.